Hey, hi everyone. Welcome back to the channel. As you may or may not be aware of, Patrick and I recorded a video a couple of days ago and we uploaded it, and I was super excited, like, yay, I'm only a day or two late, and we talked about punishments. And then good news is that I have amazing subscribers already that watch my videos as soon as they're uploaded. Bad news is they told me that there's no audio. And so I go back and I check on my phone and I check on my laptop, and there really is no audio. So as you can see, I have a handy dandy microphone, not remote microphone. I believe I plugged it in most of the way, but not all the way. Let me go ahead and check that just in case, actually. Okay, good. So it wasn't recording anything through the phone, and it wasn't recording anything through the microphone, and it's just us talking. So we're going to re-record that for you, but since I really am dedicated to making sure that I'm on schedule and giving you guys content, I decided I'm going to just record on my own. Don't know, you guys might share a little bit some info. Some of you already know that I actually am a medical student, so I actually am quite busy. I just love doing this. Patrick, though, has a full-time job, is working on a master's, starting a course space, and is my social media manager, and does all these things. So it's usually him that I have to wait on for recording, but not his own fault. He's an extremely busy person, just a very dedicated pet, and I love him very much for it. In fact, he's actually downstairs right now doing homework or actual work or both. I am not even sure. So let's get started. Let's see how much time. Okay, so let's get started. Still blind, guys. I'm still working on that issue. So I wanted to talk to you about Humanistic BDSM. So I'm really excited. We just hit 770 members in the Facebook group, and we have like 36, I think, members in Discord. And I'm super excited that we're getting to just get to know each other more. We're having so many more ideas. I think as you're watching these videos, you're learning I like to talk a lot. I do like to write. It's more, it tends to be a struggle for me. I'm one of those people that has analysis paralysis, where I want things to be like too well done, too well crafted. And that comes out of my writing. And when I just talk, I'm like, fuck it, whatever. I don't know how to fucking edit, so I can't make this shit better anyway. So just here it is. I got distracted with Humanistic BDSM. Because of Humanistic BDSM, and I believe it so much, I really wanted to find a new avenue to get you this information. So the history of Humanistic BDSM starts several years ago. I did not perform. I wasn't teaching. I was pretty active in the scene, but I'm like, I'm just another dominatrix, like whatever. I didn't even use a scene name, to be honest. It wasn't until I went to the Philippines and I started performing there at an invitation, which I didn't even take seriously. I was like, fuck, this is not some shit I do. This is what I do for fun. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And then from there, I realized in the Philippines, in Manila specifically, there was a vacuum for female-led relationship talks, or where there was munches and spaces that was more about talking about like female domination in ways that could look like. The munches that were there were more catch-all, and because it's a smaller community, was more catch-all, more generalized. So I just, I saw an opportunity. I asked, was like, hey, like, would you be interested in talking about more female domination? Because I didn't want to like just repeat the same thing, you know, because like we already had a really amazing, thriving Munches. Like why duplicate that? And there was a great response. So it was first formulated as Kink for Success. So some of you have been with me since Kink for Success. That used to be the name of the website. That was the branding. Kink for Success was born out of the idea that you could use a lot of your corporate skills in your kink play and kink play skills in your corporate life. Because as I was teaching, so I used to run a munch called the Kink for Success. Actually, it's called Fuck Munch. It was female something kink. I can't even remember. Yeah, but that was borrowed. That name was borrowed with permission from my mentor, Miss Jem in San Francisco. But with the word female in it, like people were asking, like, oh, is it for everyone? Is it only for females? Is it only for female dominance? I was like, okay, we need to like rebrand and say that this is really just for everyone. I just happen to be like, I'm the leader and I'm female, but everyone is welcome here. So start out as Fuck Munch, Kink for Success. Then as I was doing those, my munches were more like mini workshops. I think I've definitely done rituals. As you know, I love rituals, behavior modification. I've done, sensory play. I think, yeah, that was my first one, sensory play, where we kind of like, I give you a little bit of information, I give you some examples, and then we kind of like all talk about it. Everyone gives the examples, like feedback, kind of help everyone to make their idea and like improve their skills. That's really what I want to do. That's what I want to do. Is there really wasn't a munch that was more about skills. So that was a first year of medical school for me. And I got more busy. So between school and then I started doing burlesque. I was with Burlesque PH. I got more, I was just getting more and more swamped with school, with burlesque, with performances. Thankfully, that I kind of had to step back from that. Sorry, I have a bug bite and I really shouldn't scratch it, but oh well, this is what happens when you're a dominatrix and you don't have someone to tell you no. So from there, I was always kind of talking about these different like esoteric ideas and theories of mine, my type of play. And I was just, I realized after a while there was a pattern to the way that I was thinking. Like what was it, the foundation of all of the ideas that I had? Because they were always really consistent. I noticed, and even other people noticed when they would ask me, is that there was this very pointed opinion that I had, this very solid idea. But I'm like, what is that foundation? I couldn't find it for a while. It's like I kept teaching. When so I had the blog. Oh, I also had the blog. So yeah, it's like, I'm insane, guys. Like I tried to do everything. So my first year of medical school, I was performing, I had a blog, I did a munch. Oh, I co-hosted a kinky bar crawl as well, and I was doing performances. And maybe I pretend to study sometimes, but maybe. And I spent Friday night at my favorite cigar bar because like I'm a weirdo like that by myself. I didn't have friends. I didn't have that many friends yet. So as time went on, like the blog kind of fell to the wayside. I got busy. I know it kind of fell to the wayside now. Sorry, but at least I'm making videos now, right? Fell to the wayside. But I was still really lucky that when I had the bandwidth to hold workshops, yes, I also had workshops. Whenever I had the bandwidth to hold workshops, I always had a ready audience. And thank you guys so much, the ones that have been with me through all the name changes, all of my crazy ideas. Thank you so much. I mean, I also really appreciate my new followers, but like the ones that have been with me since like 2016, like I super appreciate you guys. Yeah, I've been doing this since 2016. You'd think I'd be further along by now, but whatever. So the big catalyst, besides meeting Patrick, that is definitely a part of it, started a relationship with him. One of my very close friends and supporters, Trisha, she's a professional writer and she's a sex activist and she's an amazing writer. She's amazing enough at writing that she writes for a living. And she messaged me, said, like, hey, I've been approached by CNN Philippines to write an article about BDSM here in the Philippines, but I'm really swamped with work and I gave them your name. Would you be interested? I was like, fuck yeah, I would be interested. Like, CNN Philippines? Like, hello, yeah. Even if I get rejected, just the fact that someone at a legit publication saw my article would be amazing. You know, like maybe get good feedback, even if they don't take it, like fine, whatever. So I write the article. I tell about my first experience. See, like if I was an experienced YouTuber, I'd be like, click the link here or here, whatever, somewhere. It's probably just gonna be in the comments. Click this link, down here. The article that I wrote for CNN Philippines, recreating and explaining my very first performance, how I became Domina Chase. And then I didn't hear anything. I was like, after a day or two, it was like a week or something. I was like, well, I guess my article sucked. They didn't like it. Like, you know what? Hey, it's an experience, right? Great. From there, though, I was actually the founder of Shibari PH, which is why Shibari PH always will have a special place in my heart. They posted my article on their timeline. I'm like, wait, hey, oh, this is cool. Like Filipino dominatrix. I'm like, wait, that's me. They didn't use my title. I suck at titles. I'm not very good at SEO, but I'm learning. I'm like, that's me. Hey, what the fuck? So I read it. I shared it, you know, like with all of I shared it on my Domina Chase Facebook, which it hardly has anything on it. I'm terrible at this shit, guys. I'm terrible at this. And I private messaged like all of my really close friends, even the ones that were vanilla, but just that, you know, knew about my life and supported. And, you know, from there it generated a lot of interest. Like, oh, are you going to write more? When's your next workshop? When's your next performance? Like, you know, I'm like, shit. And this is the time. Patrick fucking loved it. He's like, see, I showed you should be writing, like, blah, blah, blah. You guys need to I give Patrick a lot of credit, and you should too, because none of this would be going on without Patrick being fucking annoying about it, honestly. And it just so happened so it was a culmination of things at the same time that happened. We were on some Facebook groups. You know, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll get more activity and just kind of get like ideas. And honestly, I'm not going to say the name of these groups, but they were kind of shitty. Like some of these were shitty. We found a lot of them were homophobic, transphobic, misogynist, racist, like, what, like this is supposed to be a very progressive group of people with like, you know, like on the fringes of society. And seriously, I'm not saying that gatekeeping is good, but gatekeeping I understand. Like I'm much more understanding of like, oh, this is the one true way. Like women always have to wear cat suits and like everyone has to wear leather. Like that's just more like narrow-minded. It's not really, not even narrow-minded. That's just more, it's just more gatekeepy and, you know, like an aesthetics thing. But you're gonna be saying things that you're not gonna like, you don't care about people's pronouns. You're gonna be scared of, you know, someone of like the same sex approaching you. You're gonna be making comments. Like this is the meme that I'm pretty sure this got me banned from one of the Facebook groups because I was just pissed. It was an African American woman and she was in it's really great suspension actually. And like I think it was a meme or maybe the caption that the original poster put was all I know is it said like, what in 50 Shades of Welfare is this? I'm like, are you only saying that because she's an African American woman? Because like the background, it looks like a crafting room or like a kitchen or something, but very neat, like a normal house. Like what? Like what? Because she's not rich enough to have a dedicated BDSM room, that makes it welfare? Who has a dedicated BDSM room? I don't. Not that many people do. And I just kind of went off. I was like I didn't know that we were raised to tears now. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, it was just bewildering. And then, you know, people who were supposedly or who had posed themselves as being thought leaders and being like very experienced in the community was defending this idea. Like, what the fuck? Okay, I'm not saying that homophobia, transphobia are a good thing. It's definitely not a good thing. And, you know, and it's funny now in light of of the current situation. I was like, really? Racism in BDSM? Like, we haven't gotten past that? But I mean, with everything with the Black Lives Movement going and all of the protests, I guess we haven't. But maybe I'm idealistic and I expected better from a group of people who have been marginalized, who have experienced being prejudiced against. I expected better, you know. So I got banned from that group because I was not backing down. And there's other groups that I think I just like snapped, and I just fucking rage quit. I'm like, I am not dealing with this shit anymore. I'm done trying to educate and like advocate on a post by post basis. And so there was this one group where I went head to head with the admin of the group. Like, well, you know, they said like, if you don't like it, if you're so good, you should just start your own group. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck you. Yeah, like I am gonna just start my own group. I told Patrick, he's like, let's start our own group. And so here's the part of Humanistic BDSM, doing a lot of soul searching and figuring out what is the basis. Why do I have a cohesive thought process on how I want to do BDSM and how I think BDSM should be done ethically? But that's very all encompassing. Honestly, I don't even know. I must have just been reading. I was like spouting out words, and I think it just kind of came up the ideas of like, you know, like self-actualization and peak experiences. And I'm like, holy shit, I'm just talking about humanistic psychology. And that's how I base my BDSM philosophy. So, ta-da! We have a Humanistic BDSM. So again, I have a blog that I wrote about it. Click on the link somewhere, I don't know, on it. If once you guys write comments below if you want me to go into the history, because it's kind of dry, but I love it. If you want to know more about it, because I'll have to do research on it so I can give you like factual information and not just push it out of my ass like I normally do. But basically the basic tenets is that everyone is valid. Their desires are valid. Everyone deserves to have peak experiences. Everyone deserves to feel self-actualized. So if you start with everyone being valid, self-actualization, and peak experiences, that's where I was able to parse out and articulate that there's a difference between a top and a dominant. So just to recap for if you're new around here, top dominant, bottom submissive. So the top and bottom, it's more about who is doing and receiving an action. So these are action verbs. And a dominant and submissive is about who is mentally and emotionally in control. Because in the common language, top and dominant, bottom and submissive are used interchangeably, and generally they do follow along. However, I know for me personally and for many others, as I've come to find, there's some people who they're dominant. They want to feel in control. They want to drive what's happening, but they just like to get hit. So that created like a lot of internal conflict. I know it did for me, and talking with other people, it created conflict for them. Like, how does that fit in? Like, so I know for the longest time I identified as a switch, which I no longer do. I actually more identify as a bedroom switch. So outside of the bedroom, dominant, like when it's just BDSM, when it's BDSM with intimate play, which I don't do very often. That was actually like a limit until Petrick came along. So when it's an intimate situation, I will switch, but only when there's sex involved. Like once sex is over, I'm in charge again. Like, thanks for the jollies. So I found myself in the past, because I do have masochistic tendencies. I like getting hit. Like, I felt that I had to cosplay as a submissive in order to get hit, because this is how I'm gonna get what I want, and it created a lot of struggle for me. So, but because I really started to think of things in a humanistic way, I was able to realize that if you take those two individual feelings as being valid, like I want to get hit and I'm dominant, the only way that those two ideas become valid and true is if you separate top dominant, bottom submissive. So I think that's why I've really been able to take these very old ideas, very old practices, and breathe new life into them and reinterpret it for everyone, that it's okay to have just this one part. You don't have to all of these new things. Basically, if you're old guard, you fucking hate me, and that's okay. And because being old guard is valid. There's actually a lot of good history with old guard, which is why I won't knock it. Brief history. Old guard, they were very much Old Guard is very much affiliated with like the leather culture, which was really big on activism from the very beginning, but especially during the AIDS crisis. To this day, a lot of the I only say a lot, but all the only leather competitions I've ever seen, I'm sure there are exceptions, but almost all the leather competitions I've seen are based around activism and charity and fundraising, and that's amazing. So that's why I will never bash Old Guard, but most people who are Old Guard like really don't like me, and that's okay. But that's why my philosophy, there's room for everyone. It's if you like the traditions of the Old Guard and that works for you, that's how you find your peak experiences, that's how you find your self-actualization, that's amazing. Please keep doing that. If your self-actualization comes from very like vanilla activities, the only things that you are interested in is just light spanking, and you just feel energized and you feel like alive, you're on the top of the world, that's also amazing. That's really what I want to espouse, is by having that's the human part of Humanistic BDSM, is making it really accessible to everyone, saying that whatever BDSM looks like for you is valid, as long as everyone's safe, sane, consensual, prick, rack, all that stuff. I also want to make sure to point that out. That's always a basic tenet. But I think that's why I stumbled upon this and it's had broad appeal. It's not that I've been trying to make it, I'm gonna make theories and ideas so I can attract the most followers. No, I can confidently say that the ideas came first and then the followers. So this was supposed to be more about what Humanistic BDSM, I guess I did get to it at the end. It's more about like the history, how we got here, sorry for the mistake. Thank you for being patient as we re-record our video on punishments, because I know a lot of you have been asking about it. So if you liked this video, how long I've been talking to you? Oh Jesus, it's been half an hour. I didn't realize I've been here forever. If you liked the content, please like and subscribe. Really, this is about you guys. We try to be super flexible. So post in the comments what you would like to see. Just gonna be honest, okay? Like, this is an algorithm. The more you like it, the more you share, the more you comment, even if it's just to say like, hey, awesome job, or hey, goddamn, you talk too much. Like, any comments are good comments. When it comes to the algorithm, we have the Patreon. The links will be below. We're going to be doing, here's a preview. The Patrick, sometime today, will post that we are starting a Quora space, because about 9/10 of you have joined us through Quora. So we're going to be jumping up in through that space. It's another way to get paid. As I've already told you at the beginning of the video, Patrick and I are both very, very busy people. And we're hoping that we can get to a point where A, this enterprise pays for itself and it's not such a super expensive hobby, and B, maybe hire a social media manager or editor, because we could do that. We could definitely learn how to do that, but we got vanilla lives we really got to take care of. That way we're not taking away from creating content, because you know what? I know I'm the shit. No one else can say the things that are in my head, but other people can edit for me. So yeah, that's it. Thanks, guys. I can't believe I've been jabbering away for so long. This is I shouldn't be surprised. And this is what happens when you can't see. All right, make sure to like and subscribe. Ooh, I said bye, guys. Bye, everybody. See, even Domina Chase struggles with inclusive language, so don't feel bad. The important part is when you hear it, you acknowledge it, and you change it, and you keep doing better. Okay.